Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and welcome back to my review for chapter 214 of Tokyo Revengers. If you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers reviews, spoilers, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also leave a like on the video if you do enjoy my content, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my content to a bunch of new amazing people. But enough of that, let's get into this review. So obviously last week we left off with Draken stating to Terano that he wants to get this fight started, and this week is no different. It starts off and you've got this massive traffic jam that's built up obviously from where the two gangs have met, because they've just met in the middle of a road. They haven't exactly met in a parking lot like they have in the past before. So they've just built up this massive traffic jam of people wondering what the hell is going on. And the name of this chapter is called The Engine Fired. So obviously we're going to see some kind of battle or fight between Terano and Draken here. But as we know from the spoilers as well, apparently the innocent reason for Brahman wanting to recruit Takemichi is an even bigger reason, and we'll find out this chapter why. So we have everyone obviously facing each other still, and Draken is facing Terano inside the big circle of people that are surrounding them now, both Rokuhara and Brahman. And you can see Takemichi's got his little faction there with Draken, and then you've got the other guys all standing in their separate areas, I guess you could say. And Terano's like, I was planning to bring Draken in to destroy you guys, but you know what, thanks for saving my time, let's just settle it here and now. And Kawaragi's like, I don't give a damn about you guys, I'm just here to get Takemichi on board before the Kanto Margin gang arrives. And this is something that I've been going on about for a while. I obviously think that Mikey is going to show up here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this chapter. But it's quite interesting on how Kawaragi wants to get Takemichi into Brahman before, I guess, maybe Mikey tries to get Takemichi into this new Kanto gang in some kind of way, or before maybe Takemichi's life is in danger through Mikey at this new Kanto gang perhaps, and Kawaragi is here to protect him. And Draken screams out shit and he's like, don't just go around and decide things for us. We are not gonna do whatever you guys tell us to do, right, Takemichi? And this is when Takemichi has probably the coolest line of this arc so far, I reckon. He's like, I have no interest in neither Brahman nor the Rokuhara Tandai. I am only here to defeat the Kanto Margin gang's leader, Sano Manjiro. And then he has some like inner monologue with himself where he's like, that's right, that's the reason why I came back to the past. And you get like the stunned kind of look on Kawaragi's face, something similar to what I guess Izano would look like when he's quite stunned. And you see Akashi there kind of thinking to himself like, well, this is quite interesting, you know. And I honestly reckon there's something going on here, obviously to do with the Black Dragons, the original Black Dragons, as we know that the majority of the first guys have been introduced here. And obviously, like, Terano hears this from Takemichi, who's 5'2" compared to this, like, 6'9" massive, overbearing giant. And he's like, are you insane? Are you trying to interfere with the three deities, a small fry like you? So this is so cool. Like, he has no idea, obviously, who Takemichi is as a person and how he just gets people to follow him and how he mesmerizes everyone around him with just who he is as a person. So I can't wait. I wonder what's going to happen with Terano. I wonder if they're going to get into a fight eventually where Takemichi is just beaten to a pulp by this guy, but even he can't bring him down. I think that would be pretty damn insane if that ever does happen. And then out of nowhere, you know, as Terano, I guess, is bearing over Takemichi, Draken comes in and just punches him right in the side of like the chest, but I think he gets his block up in time and he sends him like flying off from in front of Takemichi to get him out of the way. And he's like, if you want to go through Takemichi, you have to go through me. I think this is freaking awesome. Like, Draken just looks so happy here. He doesn't look like he's actually rusty at all. I really thought he might have been rusty after 2 years of not fighting, but actually after kind of what happens towards the end of this chapter, I'm wondering now if Draken actually has still got his fighting spirit completely with him and hasn't lost it at all. And he's like, screams out like, come on, let's begin round 2. And Terano with his Spanish, I think it's Spanish, he says like vivo or something like that. He always says like some kind of Spanish talk or something along those lines. But as they're about to fight, the cops do show up and I guess end up making them all kind of disperse so that fight between them is called off. So that also in turn ends up calling off the fact that Mikey is probably not going to show up just yet in the story as well. So shout out to anyone who said that in the comment section last time, you know, and called it. Good on you, because I definitely did not see the next part of this chapter happening at all. And I think someone commented in the comment section and I kind of saw it and laughed. I thought this might have been a bit crazy, but then this next part of the chapter happened and now it's kind of changed my entire mind. And I'll get to what they said in a second, but first let's finish off this chapter. Draken's like, South, I have left the old me and the Tokyo Manji gang. I'll never join the Rokuhara Tandai. And then Terano was like to everyone, let's get out of here, everyone, obviously referring to the cops showing up. And Takemichi's just, you know, like super happy because obviously Draken protected him. He knows that he's like not changed over the 2 years at least that he's been gone. Then Akashi walks up to Draken and he calls him over and he's like, sorry for just standing quietly. And Takemichi kind of thinks to himself, he's like, they know each other? And then Akashi's like, we're leaving too. And Kawaragi kind of looks at Takemichi just mesmerized by who he is as a person, I think. And he's like, so that's Hanagaki. I think, honestly, Kawaragi is just completely mesmerized by Takemichi, and he's probably heard the stories about him and wants him onto his crew. These guys seem like really good people, especially by what happens pretty much right now in this chapter. Draken is like, you know, Takemichi and Inupai, we're leaving now as well. Takemichi's like thinking to himself, like, damn, I think I've said too much. And Draken's like, I've got something to tell you, Takemichi. I'm currently a member of Brahman, which is insane. Like, when did this happen? How did this happen? But this kind of makes sense, you know, if these guys are good, if Brahman is like kind of a reincarnation of the first generation Black Dragons and all they need is Takemichi to fill that slot, then hell yeah, I'm so happy that they've already got Draken on side. It means that the entire idea of Draken possibly going against Takemichi and being with Terano is not there at all. I'm so happy. It just means that Brahman is most likely a good group of people that is out here trying to probably save Mikey in some kind of way or another, or at least that's what I'm suspecting. As we know in the future, Draken was one of the people who knew where Mikey was, being like the Philippines or wherever he was specifically. So I'm wondering in each timeline if this is played out previously, if Draken has joined Brahman. I wonder if he's still worked with Akashi in the future, even when Akashi is an executive of Bonten, because as we know in the future, with the gang evolving into Bonten and Mikey being the leader of this gang in the future, apparently, we know that Akashi is part of it. So I'm wondering, how has he gone from Brahman to Bonten and left Draken and then possibly even Takemichi to join the other side that they're trying to defeat at the moment? I don't know, it's all extremely interesting right now. I think the revival of the first generation Black Dragons is still 95% going to happen. I think Draken is most likely going to introduce Takemichi to the guys at Brahman himself, as like Takemichi will go off and do things, obviously if he wants to go off and do things, but he doesn't really need to go off and try and find them now to introduce himself to them, as Draken is already a member, so he's got an easy enough way in, unless Takemichi does exactly what he says, where he creates his whole own new gang, and it consists of like, you know, Akun and all the boys, and maybe some of the original Toman members, but I doubt it, but it'll have Inupai and probably Draken, and maybe even some of these Brahman guys will come to the gang. But I feel like the possibility of Takemichi creating his own gang is super highly likely, especially after him just stating that then and there. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys all think, so make sure you drop a comment down below in the comment section and let me know. And if you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers, spoilers, reviews, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also leave a like on the video if you do enjoy my content, as it really helps out a lot with pushing it to a bunch of new amazing people. But anyway, for now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.